Well, welcome. I'm Catherine Palin, and we're so glad that you've joined us for today's Art and Aging program. This is a series that's sponsored by Elder Care Ministries of the American Baptist Churches of Rhode Island, and it features outstanding artists who are in the third of life. And today we are thrilled that our program features Roberta Belanger, a multi-talented artist. And she's going to help us explore creativity and a lifetime of expressions. And she's going to do that by sharing how the way she's expressed her creativity throughout her life. And because this is a little different, Roberta represents different genres of creativity and art, we decided to divide the program sort of into thirds so that we sort of feature each of the ways that she's found to express her creativity. So we decided we would start with the years that you were the choral director of the North Kingstown Community Chorus. Why don't you tell us how that got started?
I had just graduated from college. I was a late bloomer. I graduated from college 1 year ahead of my daughter in 1985. And a friend of mine, Pinky Sweet Holland, approached me, and there was a small group of people. And she asked me, could I teach them to sing Handel's Messiah in 4 rehearsals? And I said, no, but if you will let me pick the music, I'll help you out. So after we did our little Christmas program, they decided they wanted to stay together. So we just went on. I think we sang in a church, we sang at the library, and it grew and it grew and it grew from like 20 singers to well over 100 singers. And it really turned into a community project.
Well, and that's a good place for us to share. And I've got a couple of videos of the community chorus while Roberta was still the director. And I'm going to play one that actually is from a Christmas concert. So we're going to get a little early Christmas gift of hearing them sing. So let me share my screen.
The next song was written by lyricist Sammy Kahn and composer Julie Stein in July 1945 in Hollywood, California, during one of the hottest days on record. Due to its seasonal lyrics, it is commonly regarded as a Christmas song. However, despite the song's cheery holiday feel, it is a love song that never mentions Christmas. Enjoy this version with a new twist. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I'm afraid it backed it up a little bit.
1945 in Hollywood, California, during one of the hottest days on record. Due to its seasonal lyrics, it is commonly regarded as a Christmas song. However, despite the song's cheery holiday feel, it is a love song that never mentions Christmas. Enjoy this version with a new twist. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Well, Roberta, share some of the highlights of the years you were with the community chorus.
Well, I loved it when we decided to add the youth chorus. I thought that was very important. We're going to let children sing when they're young. And I think what we accomplished as far as supporting the community, well, the singers, I should get back to the singers first. A lot of them sang in their church choirs, or they sang in high school and college, and suddenly there was no place for them to go. There's a lot of very classical choruses and choirs throughout the state, but this chorus was just for people who wanted to sing, no audition. And I just love that part. I worked them hard, and I think we made a wonderful sound, but it just gave people the opportunity to sing. And that was really important to me. That's what made me happy. Yeah.
Great. I was looking through online and I noticed several recordings of small groups from the chorus singing at nursing homes or in other kinds of on television, local television stations. Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of that community outreach?
Well, that's the nice part of it. We used to visit nursing homes. We were available for the town. There was like the Blue Star. Is it called the Blue Star? Yeah, we sang a little program for them. If the town needed us to sing the national anthem, we were always there. Whatever was needed, I was so pleased when they would call me and say, "Can you put a group together?" And again, community. That's what it was all about. Yeah.
Great. Talk a little more about the children youth chorus because we're going to watch two more clips, one of the adult chorus and then one of children. So how did that come about and what was that like to work with them?
Well, I just thought there was a need there because a lot of the elementary schools did not have a chorus at all, and not every church has a youth chorus. And I started my singing career when I was in third grade at my church, and I sang ever since. So I thought it was very important, and it took us a while to really get it going, but it was very, very popular. The parents loved it. They were very supportive. The kids had a good time. We worked on not just learning to sing a song, but self-confidence. They could bring in their trumpet. Oh dear. They could bring in their drum, and it gave them a chance to perform and build self-confidence.
Great.
That was important.
Great. Well, let me share two more numbers.
This next song has been recorded such artists as Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, Mama Cass, Bing Crosby, and Dinah Shore, as well as many others. In fact, in its release year of 1931, no less than 7 groups released it as a single. So we thought we should add it to our repertoire. We give you Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Well, we're going to shift gears and talk about another expression of Roberta's creativity that some may not be aware of. She has published more than 100 counted cross stitch patterns, and we're going to get to see some of them. But talk about how you develop this expression. I teased her, I said, you've kind of fallen into a variety of ways to really share your creativity with the world. So how did this begin?
Well, I have always enjoyed hand sewing, starting with embroidery or, knitting, crocheting, all that stuff. And my sister was in a yarn shop, and I stopped by, and there was a counted cross stitch of a local design. And I thought, I can do that. So I did. I learned how to, there are computer programs that help you design, and I would take photography, or my husband would take photography, and then we'd create the design around it. My sister Linda helped me sew all this stuff. It had to be photographed, it had to be packaged, and eventually we joined the National Needlework Association, and my husband and I did major trade shows up and down the East Coast. And that was a lot of fun to travel. And the stores would pick up the patterns. And we got to be mostly known for our state maps. We eventually did all 50 state maps and maybe about 50 lighthouses. And those were our biggest sellers.
Good. Well, let's share. And Roberta's selected some lighthouses, some states, and then some other designs. So we'll just go through them and talk a little bit about it. And you tell me when you're ready to move to the next screen.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
me get where I want to be. All right.
This is Block Island. Everyone knows Block Island in Rhode Island. We took a photograph and then worked on the colors. I'm not that happy with the gold matte there, but that's the way it came out in this picture. So that was nice. We climbed the lighthouse.
Okay.
This is in Maine, and one of the most popular designs that we have. And the red and white stripe on the lighthouse is so that it can be seen through the snow for the sailors. It's very visible for the sailors. This is Castle Hill in Newport, and it's been restored of late, I understand, but this was done years and years ago, again, from a photograph. And I always put 3 seagulls in every lighthouse design.
There. Do you know, Roberta, off the top of your head, do you know how many lighthouses you've done?
About 50 all across the country. Yeah. We would make searching out lighthouses part of our vacation. This is Mystic. I like this picture. You can see the ship behind the lighthouse. This is Mystic, Connecticut. Yeah.
We'll move.
The state of Rhode Island. Yes. This is the second design I did of Rhode Island. The first one was quite plain. But this one I got a little more involved. There's a little fishing boat down in the corner. And we pretty much always used blues and greens. We kept the colors simple. We kept the design simple. You didn't have 40 colors to fight with. We kept it very simple. And of course, Maine, I love this one. Lots of blues and lots of greens. Fishing boats. People love to vacation here. And over on the right, those are the nautical flags that spell out the name Maine. And Alaska, I love this one. The flag up in the corner was actually designed by a young boy. And we added things like the polar bear and the seals and the whales. And again, not that many colors, not that hard to sew. And I love this one. This rose was actually from my husband's rose garden. And then all things bright and beautiful, of course, all things great and small, all things wise and wonderful. The Lord God made them all. I believe that's the correct verse that goes with that. But that rose was from my husband's garden. And of course, you have to have 4th of July with fireworks and summer glory. Yes. And the buggy, I saw this, it was on alongside the road, and I had to pull over and take a picture of it. It was an authentic buggy, but I loved what they did with the flowers, and I had to copy it. And the calla lilies, this is something favorite in my family. My daughter carried calla lilies for her wedding. Jesus loves me, this I know. I am a musician, so I created this this famous verse that all the children know, and you can actually play the notes. They are accurate.
Great. Thanks. A combination.
Combination.
Well, we are going to shift gears one more time. If you thought we had covered all of Roberta's expressions of creativity, you were wrong. Because, and let me show you kind of the next step. And I'm going to show just the covers for a little bit. Roberta, you want to talk just really briefly about the two books that I'll take down the share screen so that you can read us a story from one of the books.
Okay. They always say, write about what you know. And I took a little writing class. I've always liked to write. And we created little stories. And the teacher said, you know, that's kind of cute. And I thought, that does it. I can do this. So I started writing these little stories. And I have a wonderful illustrator, Jeff McFarland. They're all based right here in North Kingstown. My father was a commercial fisherman. My uncle was a lobsterman. And it's all things that I grew up with right down the street from where I live. So I'd like to read a quick little story. It's called Nicholas's New Friend. Nicholas is a beautiful, you might be able to see him behind me. He's a white cat. It's his job to work on the big fishing dock, and he keeps the mice from chewing on the fish nets, and he keeps the seagulls off the boats because they're very messy. All right. Nicholas's New Friend. Another day at work for Nicholas the cat. He took his place on the fishing dock and greeted all the fishermen as they arrived. They liked to pet him and scratch his ears. Hey, Nicholas, the fisherman called. How are you and your mom today? Nicholas had spent the night sleeping in a comfortable tree in a nearby park with his mom and sister. It had been a beautiful, warm spring evening. Spring was finally here. Now it was time for work. With the cat at play, the mice stayed away. One little mouse named Tim saw Nicholas coming towards him on the dock. I've never heard of a mouse named Tim, but I have heard of a mouse named Mickey. Tim, the little gray mouse, knew that he had to be careful of cats, especially the cat named Nicholas. He had seen Nicholas working on the dock every day helping the fishermen. Nicholas did not see Tim sitting on the dock, but the little mouse didn't take any chances. He raced away as fast as his little mouse legs could carry him. Unfortunately, Tim ran in the wrong direction. Oh no, he raced right off the edge of the dock and landed in the captain's boat. Nicholas saw the mouse fall into the captain's boat. Not allowed, not allowed. No mice allowed in the captain's boat. This called for a little exploration, and Nicholas was good at that. Nicholas jumped into the boat and listened for sounds of the little mouse. With his sharp green eyes, he searched for the mouse. Where did that little mouse go? He listened carefully. Remember, cats have excellent hearing. Everything was quiet, quiet, quiet. Not a whisper of a sound, not a whisper from the mouse. Then, with his beautiful sharp green eyes, Nicholas could even see in the dark. He spotted something moving over in the corner of the deck. Sure enough, there was Tim the mouse. Now, Nicholas never hurt the mice that he chased. He never ate them either. Yuck! But chasing them and keeping them from biting holes in the fish net stored on the dock, that was his job. Nicholas knew he had to get the mouse off the captain's boat. On silent paws, he slowly crept towards the mouse. Without hurting him, Nicholas grabbed the very scared mouse by the tail. Lifting the mouse up, Nicholas tried to carry him back onto the dock. Tim was shaking and shaking. He knew Nicholas the cat could be dangerous. Wiggling and trying to escape, Tim wiggled so much that he caused Nicholas to drop him. Oh no! The mouse fell in the water. Nicholas looked down and was surprised at what he saw. The mouse was swimming and fast. Tim swam to the dock and climbed up onto the dock. But who was sitting on the dock watching all this action? Nicholas. Nicholas looked at Tim, and Tim looked at Nicholas. Not moving, they stared at one another. Tim seemed to understand that Nicholas wasn't going to hurt him. Tim relaxed. That was a close call. Could Nicholas and Tim become friends? And I have a little picture from my wonderful illustrator of Tim the Mouse. So all these little stories in these books, I finished 2 and we're working on number 3. They're called chapter books, so that it's for children who are just beginning to read themselves. But since I'm a grandmother and a great-grandmother, I like reading them to my own children, so anybody can enjoy these books. And I've really loved putting them together. I have editors. I have a fabulous illustrator. You know, I have to back up 1 second. I did not mention that Christine Brindle was the accompanist for the chorus, and she was a great help. And Jeff is just amazing, Jeff McFarland, for his illustrations.
Great, thanks. Roberta, one of the things that I've noticed, and when previous conversations and then again today, when an opportunity kind of presented itself, you would say, I can do that. So could you give folks advice about if they are a little anxious or a little reluctant to express creativity, what advice would you give them to, I can do that?
Yeah, well, when things approached me, I graduated with voice performance, and I must say the Metropolitan Opera Company never did call me. But when I was asked to help with the chorus, I thought, why not? You know, I can do this. I can give it a try. And so we learned it together. I mean, I had a board of directors that did all the hard work and this kind of thing, but it just kind of fell in my lap. I didn't say, I'm going to be a choral director. It just kind of presented itself to me. And the same thing with the needlework. I've always loved hand sewing. And when I saw the cross stitch and I, you know, it's like painting on canvas. You design something that you start with a plain piece of fabric and you just create the artwork. I can't paint, I can't draw, you know, but I could create the needlework. And again, it just kind of presented itself to me. I was leaving a secretarial job, and I actually had been tested once, and I came out 50% business and 50% the arts. So I turned the arts into my little business. My husband was wonderful, had a great job, thank goodness, because I can't say you can be a millionaire with some of my projects. But off we went. And again, now that I'm really almost totally retired, I don't teach singing much anymore. It just to sit down and create these stories, I just had a wonderful time doing it. So again, I didn't sit down and say, I'm going to be a writer. It just kind of presented itself, and I went with it.
Great.
How's that?
Perfect. Well, I'm going to give other folks chances to ask some questions. So if you'd like to ask a question, just unmute yourself, and Roberta is game for anything you want to ask. Folks have questions. Looking around. Doug?
Yeah, hi, Roberta. Thank you so much for sharing. I was struck when you were talking about it just came to you, but it seems to me in life, part of it is discerning the things that you can do that are presented to yourself. And how did you discern these versus other things that might have come your way? How did you discern these particular things?
Well, they were just there, and on all the things that I've done, it took time. You know, I was not trained to be I had one conducting course in college. So there was a small group and they let me develop and this kind of thing. The needlework was the same thing. We started with small designs and I had to learn how to produce them, manufacture them, sell them, all this kind of thing. And now with the books, it took me 2 years to get that first book published. And that's fine. You know, I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't have to make $1 million tomorrow. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but you just have to give yourself time. I think that's the important thing. If you're interested in it, study it, go for it, you know.
Yeah. I think that's a very helpful response because in our society, everybody wants things right now, right? And so recognizing that things take time to develop, that's very helpful. Thanks, Roberta.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, if not, then I just want to thank each one of you for joining us today. And I especially want to thank Roberta. She has been incredibly generous with her time and with it's been a joy for me to get to know her as we prepare for this program. So Roberta, thank you for sharing of yourself and your gifts. And just thank you for this legacy of creativity you've given to us. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.